one phrase from...
More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Try Camels yourself.
In the early 20th century, tobacco companies marketed cigarettes as safe, even healthy. It was actually German scientists working under Nazi government in the 1930s who first discovered that tobacco smoke was carcinogenic, but those results were easily dismissed by the tobacco companies because it was Nazi science. Decades later, many studies confirmed what those scientists had found. Regular tobacco use does cause lung, throat, and mouth cancers, along with many other serious diseases. I share this example to make an important point, and that is the truth of an idea should be evaluated independently of the people or groups who propose it, even if they are our enemies. We should judge ideas for what they are, not for who says them. That's why it's important to allow people with opposing views to speak freely, because bad people can hold good beliefs and good people can hold bad beliefs. Sir Isaac Newton, for example, formulated the laws of motion and laid the foundation for classical mechanics. Yet he also believed in alchemy, a pseudoscience. But that doesn't invalidate his original scientific contributions. We should defend an idea because it's rational, logical, and evidence based, not because we sympathize with, admire, or idolize the person behind it. Idolizing someone for their ideas often means inheriting their flaws along with their insights. Take Gandhi, for example. He propagated the philosophy of nonviolent resistance, inspiring leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela. But Gandhi also opposed urbanization and wanted India to revert to a village-dominated society where rigid caste discrimination is deeply rooted. Even his views on modern industrialization and medicine were outdated. If India had followed all his teachings blindly out of admiration, it could have led to serious consequences, really bad consequences. This is why I suggest that we should pick every individual idea from a person and see whether it is an overall good or bad. Because when people start to admire someone excessively, they start to idolize and hero worship blindly, believing everything coming from that individual. We have seen this in history and politics a lot. For this reason, we must defend independent ideas and arguments, not people. Consider Richard Dawkins. He is famous for his arguments against the existence of God and for his defense of science and reason. But in 2002, he was photographed flying in Jeffrey Epstein's private jet to a TED conference with other scientists. This photo might make some feel differently about his trustworthiness. Whatever his connection may be to the photo, it doesn't automatically discredit his arguments, as long as those arguments remain rational, logical, and evidence-based. Now, I'm not accusing him or other scientists in that picture of any wrongdoing. If they or anyone have committed any crimes, they must be held legally accountable. That's my view. It's not just this photo, it's not just these scientists. There were many other scientists associated with Jeffrey Epstein. Even Stephen Hawking attended a science conference funded by Jeffrey Epstein in 2006 and visited his island. But reports say he was there for social hospitality. Again, I am not accusing him of any crime, but to the public eye, even being loosely associated with a sexual offender is bad and it reduces trust. And again, it doesn't invalidate his original contributions to science simply because he visited the island. We can separate someone's private life with their intellectual work and look at that work independently. But there are situations where we shouldn't do that, like when trusting someone with responsibility or authority. For example, when a national role is given, say as a health advisor, the individual's character and principles do matter. A homeopathic doctor might say perfectly reasonable things about nutrition or hygiene, but because homeopathy itself is pseudoscience, such a person cannot be trusted or should not be given a national role as a health advisor. Since their underlying beliefs about evidence are flawed, that lack of scientific credibility can endanger public trust and public health. So, in simple terms, when discussing an idea proposed by a particular intellectual, it's better to defend the idea, not the person who said it. But when deciding whom to trust with responsibility or authority, character and principles do matter. In the end, every idea deserves to stand on its own merits without the shadow of the person who spoke it, because people change and reputations fade, but truth, if it's real, remains. Let's defend ideas and in doing so, increase our ability to think freely without attaching ourselves to the person who said them. That makes it easier to challenge bad arguments without hostility. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.